Oho. Vicky, I spoke to you.
Right.
Cool. Bye.
One twist to the story that I decided to cut because I realized it was dumb. But learning about my dumb ideas is half the fun of this commentary. One thing you were going to do was, over the course of the game, learn about the various people that Melcarissa had possessed over the centuries. And one of those people was Captain Kara, Mandana's mother. So it would lead to some very awkward conversations about you possibly being her mother. Were you possessing Kara when she was conceived? That kind of thing. In the end, I decided to cut that completely because it just made things overly complicated and over muddled and kind of made things very messy. So I just cut that completely.
Oh. Okay, so how did Melcarissa become good?
So a bit of backstory detail that never actually made it into the game. This ship is literally the ship that Mandana's mother sailed. The ship was shrunk and put into a bottle because, you know, gins, and her mother's ashes are stored in a shelf in the captain's quarters on that ship. And an early idea I had for this ship was at some point you needed to sail down the Hudson River in the big climax of the game, and you would expand this ship and ride it down the river chasing the bad guy. That is something that never really made into the game, but the pirate ship remains.
Oh, cool. Touchy, touchy.
Please do not disturb. It took centuries.
Okay, no commentary on that. I guess it's just with interactable items.
No. Kalash asked. Kalash asked.
Checking objects for imbued magical energy. And I hit Baydert. Baydert? Baydert. Michael Bay. Dirt. Ew.
You really think so? I mean, I've taken a few boxing lessons at the gym, but I wouldn't last 2 seconds in a real ring.
Can you say it one more time? Got a little garbled.
You really think so?
Sorry, go on.
What's that?
No, I was just laughing because I said it got a little garbled, and he said, "You really think so?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really think so." Like, no, he was acting. Wow, sorry. Yeah.
I'm not saying to ignore that feeling, just stroke it. Use it as fuel. You'll need it.
Stoke it, not stroke it.
Stroke it.
All right.
Stoke it. That makes sense. What the hell did you just do? Sorry. That's good timing. Blah.
That's going in the blooper reel.
Try that again.
This will be an adjustment. That is certain.
Okay, so now you are not grieving. Sorry for the emotional whiplash.
Oh, no. I live for it.
Good. You're in the right job then.
Yeah.
It's not a name I've heard before. It's not a name I have heard. Oh. Mandana, I'm just gonna speak for you. People getting possessed all the time, I'm gonna possess you. Not that women could be a possession. I mean, I'm a social forward-thinking guy, even though I'm born in another age. I gotta go!
So way back when, before I even was casting for this game, we wrote a trailer and we wrote some custom voiceover for it. And in my head, it was the voice of Kalash talking about the Unavowed. I didn't say that in the trailer, but in my head, that's who was talking. And I needed to cast a voice for that role. And I figured, it doesn't matter if the trailer voiceover is local or not. I'll just make things easier for myself and go with the remote actor. And so I looked around, asked for recommendations, and this man named Sungwon Cho was recommended as the voice. And so I cast him, and he did the voice, and it was absolutely wonderful. And then it turns out that he is kind of internet famous. He goes by the name of ProZD on Twitter, and he has this YouTube channel with like a bazillion subscribers where he does these funny voices and does these, just these really funny things. Very funny guy. And I didn't know that at the time. I had cast someone with a name, but he was also legitimately awesome at the role. And so since he was so good in the trailer, I figured I might as well cast him as Kalash, once again breaking my rule about wanting to work with local voiceover talent. And so I hooked up with him on Skype, and I didn't even really need to. I barely needed to direct him. He did an amazing job, really talented guy. All the hype is real. He's really, really good. So yeah, I was very happy and lucky to get him.
Oh, thank God. Well, Kalash.
Oh, you're the new one, aren't you?
Yes, it is get arrested. You're blue.
No, I am Kalash. I am a Jinn of the ancient kingdom, and I run this branch of the Unavowed. And you? You were possessed. How'd you let that happen?
What did I say last time? I didn't exactly let it happen. It was a book I touched, and then you think I wanted to be possessed? I didn't exactly let it happen.
Picked up that book, didn't you? Exercised that precious free will of yours?
Well, maybe.
Yes, as I thought. In my day, even a newborn babe had wits enough to leave books of demonic evil alone. Mundanes today don't know they're born. The world has gotten soft, needs toughening up. How tough are you, new girl?
I'm a cop. I'm trying to put my life on the line if I have to. I stopped that monster in that. I got hit by lightning yesterday several times. I may have said this. So I'm gonna go with this.
I've read your service record. Adequate, but not exemplary. No, no. You have yet to experience your true crucible, but it will come. Oh yes, it will come. At any rate, we have much to discuss and much to do. Settle in, talk to the others, get the lay of the land. I will call our meeting when you are ready.
I have done this already.
What is it?
Ja, ska vi då bara ta det väl?
I might know. We might not be what we want. Nobody knows for sure. I know.
I've never heard of them.
Used to be, but yes, I won't deny it. But
Things have changed. You can
yes,
just
there was important.
change.
Yes,
Yeah,
we need to
exponentially, yes.
Well, I
People
do
will.
not indulge in idle gossip.
But last
Now,
night,
my opinion,
he
indeed, the time for waiting is.
Father, you met our latest recruit?
Yes, I admit she doesn't look like much, but we'll see what this life makes of her.
We were all neophytes once, Kalash.
Most of us, Mage Beckett. Most of us.
Yeah, but here you know what show that we're talking about. I'm right here, you know. Alright. This is a new option.
I'm getting to that. I have read the reports on your last mission. Mage Beckett, is it true you summoned a...
Yes.
Irrelevant. What I don't what will the mundane authorities...
The creature was both a danger and an innocent. We reached a compromise. That is all.
We'll be the ones compromised if the two of you aren't...
Oh, yeah. Do you mean the three of you? I'm gonna make the good shirt of keeping quiet.
Father, regardless of our choices, the void creature...
Yes, you let the demon...
Oh, but the demons is out there. I wouldn't call that a failure.
Saving you was a side objective. Nothing more.
Well,
Saving
shit.
people isn't a side objective, sir.
And how many might now die because you let the demon escape?
I was so close. I had it contained, but it was stronger than I expected.
I see. This is becoming distressingly commonplace.
Nevertheless, Eli speaks the truth. We underestimated the threat.
Then that will have to...
Ja, okej. Never mind, jag ska det... skip a bit. Alright, my first mission. Just got here.
The forces of darkness will not wait for you to get your sea legs, and neither can we. I've detected void activity in the East Village, somewhere close to Astor Place. You are to travel there, determine the cause of the disturbance.
What do you mean by neutralize?
It means do whatever it takes.
Are you sure she's ready to go out into the field so soon?
These are dangerous times. If she trial by fire, you want to now meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that settles that.
Trial by fire. I think I asked that. So, who's in... Wait. Did I ask these or that? Trial by
I
fire.
know, right? If anyone's gonna do a fire pun, it should be me. Anyway, we're ready when you are.
Cool.
Anytime.
Okay, outside we go. I guess it's
One of the interesting challenges with Unavowed was the idea of having multiple characters in a party that would walk around with you. Something that we'd never done before, really, and something that you also don't really see much in this style of game with these kind of graphics. One of the things that it almost forced me to do was to stick to a one-point perspective approach to most of the scenery. That really stops the dramas with scaling and walkable areas that can come even with one character when you're using two-point perspective scenery. It also meant that I worked to a template for 4 different animations. For example, at one point where all 4 characters can possibly fall over at the same point along with the player character. That's just too many people to line up like sardines without it looking stupid, so I had to give them all unique ones, which meant a lot more coding and a lot more animating. But for the most part, we worked to a template. This reduces a lot of the compositions to be quite flat, and I find it more akin to watching a puppet show than a television show that's filmed at lots of different angles. But it did allow Dave to work more easily with the art, and the game always has to come first, so that was a very important consideration for us.
Oh, good. Whittling and combination down to 5, working from a template.
So if you played the cop origin or the bartender origin, you would have already seen Vicky and Logan in those scenes. And the one that's conspicuously missing is a character from the actor origin. And this, sadly, was a case of something that got cut from the game. If you played the actor origin, there was a Muse character that you would have met named Calliope, who would later have become a companion character, much like the rest. I decided to cut that character because I was already beginning to see just how complex the multiple paths and multiple combinations were going to be. As originally designed, there were 5 companion characters that created 10 individual paths. This was too much. So what I decided to do instead was force you to take either Eli or Mandana with you on every mission. That would mean that you always had a character with you who was knowledgeable about all things supernatural and the history of the Unavowed, who could kind of tell you what was going on as it was going on. So that brought things down from 10 individual combinations to 7. This was still too much. And as I started working with these characters and designing them, I realized very quickly that I did not know what to do with the Calliope character. As a companion, I really couldn't make her fit, and she was feeling incredibly forced. Fortunately, this was in the pre-production stage. Not a code of game had been written yet, so I cut her out of the game. So those 7 combinations were shrunk down to 5 combinations, and I felt that was manageable. So that's what's in the game right now.
Ah, that would explain. Yeah, Mandana? Okay, we out.
There's always a set of frustrations that a project brings about due to the limitations that it has. One of my bigger ones with Unavowed was the flatness of everything, especially considering that the game has quite a few dramatic moments. So one of my attempts to counter this was the fairly late addition of animated establishing shots and close-up shots, which more than anything serve as a nice shift of focus and change from the flat perspective that's otherwise always present. They certainly don't solve the problem completely, but they do add at least enough of a visual dynamic to help introduce some more variety, and also help to showcase the game very quickly in a trailer or teaser video, something that is notoriously difficult with adventure games if you don't want to have a minute and a half of somebody walking. I was inspired to do this by other 2D games that do this sort of thing really well, like Full Throttle or Primordia, and I always love how much this added to those games. So it was really great to try and bring that same sort of idea to a few key moments in this project.
What happened?
Still raining.
At least nothing's here waiting to kill us.
Yeah.
Well, the night is young.
Right behind you. Right behind you. Right behind you. Right behind you! Right behind you!
Right behind you. Right behind you.
That's all, folks.
There is no need. We are equipped to handle this.
I'm just gonna open the door and let some air in here. I don't know about you.
I'm getting kind of hot.
I mean, it's not gonna help you, but I mean, my comfort's all that matters. Yeah.
Speaking of, let us venture forward. We will learn nothing standing here in the rain. She does not like rain.
Well, it has been raining for a while.
Coming to my New York, my rules.
Writing the East Village section of the game was a little bittersweet because I used to live in this neighborhood. I used to live a block away from the Astor Place Cube. And since I moved away, it has changed a lot. A giant glass building went up in the middle of it, and I find it the biggest eyesore ever. It does not suit the neighborhood. You have all these nice, quaint brownstones and old shops, and everything is just, and then you have this big, colossal glass tower in the middle of it, which I despise. So I decided in my version of New York, if that building has to be there, I'm just gonna trash it. So that's what I did.
Hey. Interesting.
Yes.
Come. What do you know about this area?
You call this neighborhood the street
Cop. You should consider a weapon, but you could get arrested.
You need not worry. I will not get arrested. The very idea is so, well, pardon the term, but so mundane. Agreed.
What do you need? Ancient fire maid. Well, no, not. It's a simple trick. Kind of. It was just... Oh, let's focus. I have...
Cool. Cube. Untouchable.
I believe we have a...
Okay. I don't know what you can try to go down.
You seem troubled. Is something the matter?
Oh yeah. Should walk around the block at the shop there. I'm one of the criminals. Shouldn't be very disguised or something. Maybe I should walk around the block.
Whatever for.
Wait, I get it. You're worried about the cop, aren't you? She doesn't know about the veil.
Well, did you do something to me?
Don't worry, it's totally harmless. Well, mostly. It just disguises your identity.
You are not the first new recruit to arrive with the veil prevent...
Great, when things to be more awkward than they are. Somebody really not recognize me, I have to put it makes sense with a safe and sorry.
Just think of it as a perk of...
In a sense, the veil only works on mundanes. That law enforcement officer?
In early builds of the game, the veil was discussed and introduced during the meeting at headquarters. I decided to postponed that introduction because that meeting was already very info dumpy. There was already so much going on, and there was a lot for the player to process. So I decided to hold off describing what the Veil was until this moment when it actually became relevant.
Oh. Okay, so let's keep going. Normal folks won't recognize, but supernatural folks can. Got it. Let's go unless there's something else you forgot to tell me. No more
Good.
folks?
Let's keep going.
Okay. There's a Corey Palmer.
So yes, for those of you who might be wondering, that is Corey Palmer, the cop from Blackwell Epiphany. It is a very subtle reference or callback to the Blackwell series. And if you look closely at Corey's portrait, you'll see a tiny scar on his forehead from where Rosa Blackwell headbutted him at the end of the game. So that is for the very observant long-term fans. You are welcome.
Okay. I wish to speak.
Evening, man.
What am I? Cop. I'm a fellow cop like you. You're meeting outside prison, right? I recognize the badge and number, prefix.
Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. It's been in the news, but I don't blame you if you don't read that stuff. I'll tell you one thing. You see a lot of bad people in this line of work, but it takes a special kind of nasty to...
You roughing it to be out.
Yeah, wouldn't be...
You're a homeless?
Yeah, a neighborhood. Was anyone hurt? A few people.
That is...
I won't argue. They were carted off to bed.
Are you sure about the house?
Until which means... I don't
Ah, but
blame
they get going. Yeah, nothing else. Whee.
Hey, are you...
Boy?
Where are you taking me?
Oh, this building is a safe place. I'm thinking out of the call. That's all you need to know. I need your help and you need mine. Perhaps we can help each other.
I'll do whatever you want.
Just go through this door. Follow me in here. Just do as you're told and all will be well.
Did you see that?
I did.
So in the earlier builds of the game, your companions couldn't see the vision. You had to explain what the vision was when you woke up. After the third vision, this got very tedious, having to explain what you just saw. So to streamline things, I just enabled your companions to see the vision as well.
Neuromorphic projection. I've read the theories, but never thought.
Cool.
I think she's coming.
Well, what is happening?
You blacked out, just for a minute, but...
You had a vision. We saw it as well.
A vision from your past. Well, this area must have kick-started your brain into remembering.
It's like spillover. You guys can read my mind. You guys can't read my mind.
Oh, Lord. Pure audio-visual output only.
This building the demon entered. It used to house the Village Eye.
The newspaper? Didn't it go out of business?
Indeed it did.
What did it do instead? I know that I saw that last time. So let's get in and find out. As long as I don't have another vision, I don't care. That's how it is. Let's get in and find out.
Agreed. We are waiting.
Right. Enough jabbering. Let's go.
Okay, demon
Back in
flashbacks.
the pre-production stages for this game, when I was hashing everything out, one of the core things I really needed to nail down and establish was why the player character was involved on missions at all. What did the player character bring to the group? My original thoughts were to give the players some kind of magic power or some ability or some such. But since we already had several characters who had abilities, that just seemed a little redundant, adding complexity onto something that was already quite complex. And in the end, I decided to keep it very simple and just homed in on these flashbacks that you have whenever you enter a new area. These flashbacks are what give you your first clue as to what's going on in the neighborhood and where you should investigate first. And thus the player character becomes absolutely essential to each mission.
Oh. These visions actually never explain why they happened.
The Village Eye is another subtle callback to the Blackwell series. You may remember the newspaper that Rosa Blackwell worked for at the beginning of Blackwell Legacy was called The Village Eye, and in subsequent games, she talks about what a crappy and horrible place it was to work, so now it's shut down and squatters are living in it. So when we first drew this background, I had asked Ben to base the Village Eye building on the village voice building. And sadly, it appears I have magic powers or something, because in the game, the village eye is out of business. And soon after we designed this, the real village voice went out of business. So I guess it's true to life now? I don't know. Oh well.
Ooh.
What do you need? I have.
Yeah, that's good. Oh.
It is done. Be aware that if law enforcement questions me, I am...
Wow.
It smells
Very
very...
Sometimes it's really interesting to take a look back and see how things change from first draft to final product, especially considering how radically different the two ended up being. In my original draft, you entered this building, and while you were exploring, a man named Jordan came in, recognized you, and then brought the rest of the cult in, and you would learn everything that was happening that way. Worked great on paper. As a game, it was not very satisfying to have everything being told to you just out of the blue. My new rule of thumb for telling stories in games is to have you explore and discover the story through interactivity. So instead, I decided rather than Jordan coming in to see you, the goal would be to find Jordan. And then I started thinking about, well, what happened to him? And then I came up with this idea of the whole fire elemental, yada, yada, yada. And things just sort of snowballed from there. But what was interesting about this is that originally I had like a whole cult that you met. And now you only meet two of them. And that was fine. That's all I needed. They were the linchpin of the whole story. And they were all that I needed. So by simplifying it and kind of sanding it down to its essentials, I think we created a much more satisfying story.
There's no touch. Okay, Jordan's room.
Huh. Only one bed in here.
Yes, this room was designated to separate one individual from the rest.
Right, I need power.
Do not be alarmed. That was just a lost spirit. Wait, they are harmed.
Oh. Yeah, right, so good as existed. Let's move on. I see your aim remarkable. Harmless a ghost. Your aim remarkable.
Well, it's not like ghosts can exactly do anything.
They have no physical form. We cannot interact with them, nor they with... It is best to...
Can you say that right to go to let's move on a bit for that. That seems a bit
40 years
cruel.
ago, I would have agreed with you. But Mandana's right. There's nothing we can do for them.
Death is part... Let us move...
Cool. Actually, there's one thing I want to try on. Oh, cool.
Back in the pre-production stages,
Yeah.
the village...
It is done. Be aware that if law...
Sometimes it's really interesting.
Smells very... human in here.
Purple I need power.
Looks like people...
Hey.
Ow! God damn it.
Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. Can't see it.
Great. Eli? I think Eli's still not going to do anything.
That's weird. Come on!
Is there a problem?
The darkness.
It always...
I'm
Fine.
being literal.
Great, you have one with us. Small fuse box.
Not sure what you're trying to do there. The fuse is obviously blown.
Can I have a fuse?
Whatever's down here, it's... We're going...
Right, we ain't got a fuse. Shit. Weird. I didn't say.
Do
Any
not be
diff-
alarmed. That was just a lost spirit. They are harmed.
Okay. You guys remember.
They have it has been
40
Yeah, the
years
crew.
on
death. Let us.
Okay, I need
Huh. Only one
Fuse.
bed in here.
Yes, this room was designated to separate one individual from the rest.
What have you got there? An old fuse? Seems to still be intact.
What have you got there? An old fuse? The one thing I realized very fast in having a non-voiced player character as well as no narrator was that there was nothing there to really tell you what you were doing. So if you opened up a drawer and found something, usually the player character would say, "Oh, look, it's a fuse." So instead, that role was always given to one of the other companion characters. And that got old very fast. So I added that little floating tooltip that appears above the player character, and that did the job a lot better. Kind of clunky and gamey, but it worked so much better.
Ah. What about the other one? Photograph. Wait. This existed all this time? My god.
Do these drawings on the wall mean anything to you, Mandana? Just
Well,
a sec.
okay.
Color me gobsmacked.
It's a
Forest. We can look at it. The blanket is covered with motion. The fuse is blown.
Not sure what you're trying to do there. The fuse is obviously blown. Blah blah blah. Blown. The fuse is baloney.
I
There's
find
one-
it quite hard to make interesting shapes in leaf clusters without them getting lost among the sea of other leaves. So for scenes like this forested basement, I like to rely on roots and vines to give most of the texture and pattern. The leaves are more sort of a foundational element than a feature for the most part. They provide information and colour, but not so much in the way of shape and design.
I think that's fine.
Wait, you want to leave now? This room is the find of the decade. Let's look around a bit first.
Ah. Fine, have a look at it there, buddy.
One of the biggest things that can be frustrating when doing 2D animation on a computer in as fast and efficient a manner as possible is how static things can end up looking. Unless you're hand animating each frame, things like moving cloth and hair just look stiff and fake. For this particular close-up shot, I wanted to have the cloth being pulled off, but I knew that I couldn't hand animate it with the painted style in a way that would look right, nor would I be satisfied with a static cloth sprite that got pulled off without any distortion. To combat this, I painted the cloth as normal, then rigged the cloth to a mesh that I could distort, and then tried to emulate the stretching and distortion of a cloth being pulled by moving the mesh accordingly. The sprite would distort as the mesh distorted. This sounds like an easy solution, but ended up taking a lot of tweaking to get looking right. But the end result is one of my favourite animated moments in the game, so definitely worth it.
Well, this just got a lot more complicated.
Yeah, let's see like more looks at it. Wait.
Male. Or the cause.
He's
Well, just look, there are wounds along his neck. I could do this. He's got a remote. Do this. Should be covered on my neck. Cop. Look, there are wounds along his neck.
You are correct. Blade wounds. They are difficult to see with all this growth in the way. You have a good eye.
So this guy was murdered by a person.
It appears so.
Yeah, I could
I
do this.
cannot say. Your vision. You were familiar with this building. Whatever
Yeah.
happened here, you were.
You don't remember anything.
I think I would have remembered this. No, I'm sorry. I wish I could have been
Don't
right.
apologize. It's not your fault.
No doubt your demon covered its tracks.
So
He has no whoever this is.
Cup powers can't help. Hey, ghosty buddy. Is the
It
buddy
is a
yours?
lost spirit.
are you sure?
It does appear agitated. Let us leave.
In an early draft of the game, this scene went a whole lot differently. The ghost was a geist, and if you played the game, you know what geists are. And it started making the building shake, and leaves were flying everywhere, and like all these horrible things were happening. And so they had to run out, and they decided, oh no, we have to deal with the geist. And they figured the only way to do that was to find out who the ghost was and put it to rest, etc., etc., etc. And it gave the mission some higher stakes, but at the same time, it felt too Blackwell. I was designing a Blackwell game, not an Unavowed game, and I decided to simplify it because I knew you were going to meet Logan in a subsequent mission anyway, and ghosts and geists were going to be explained and dealt with there. So I decided to simplify it by a lot.
Great. That's the buddy. Okay, bye. We've got a pal.
This wall drawing means nothing to me. Eli?
We'll go to this job, we'll find a Wendy.
Hey, you alright? That computer nearly shocked you.
Most curious. I wonder why it did that.
Huh, beats me. Guess we'll never know.
Playing out of order, are we? Ah, it's smartass. How about now?
Hey, you alright? That
Most
Huh.
Ah, it didn't allow it to read it. Ah, I see. Like an inverted. Found nothing on this again.
What do you need?
Let's go with ghost. The ghost shape, let's go ray blocks.
To you and me, it make when that it left you, we call that
Yeah,
pretty
you
much. From what I can gather, talking to them isn't.
need a much.
When I saw my, I wanted, so we all. The
Spirit
technical
meeting?
term, we heard
There's
rumors
still
of death. No kid. Yes, they don't be.
Yeah.
Sure. I have.
Okay. Well, the song was the word nobody
You
could
catch
see.
on as long.
Oh.
I Eli. Agree.
Okay, great. We could go find Wendy. Bandana? Oh well.
Are you lifting with your knees?
Yeah. Bracing.
Hell yeah. Down we go.
At least the rain is washing away most of the smell.
Elijah.
Eli Becker, mage, accountant, and plumber. And so
Who knows all the degree? I'm on fire.
Of course I know what I did. I'm on fire forever.
Gilbert got
That was very Gilbert Godfrey. Yeah, no, I felt that as soon as I did it. Help me! Thank you, Master!
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, the urgency of being like, I'm really hot! Whew, okay.
Do you want to take a run on, get some air? Or are you alright?
No, we're alright.
Alright, you get the hotter you are, the more in character you are.
Yeah, I'm really feeling it.
Look behind them. I guess not yet. Okay, guess it doesn't allow yet. So I can shit.
Don't play dumb with me. I'm not. I'm just thinking Britney Spears. I'm sorry.
You want to sing it? Go ahead.
I'm not that innocent.
Okay, now you're going to sing every line.
Thank you. Excellent. It's the musical adventure I've been waiting for. I don't give a crap what it means. And I don't give a crap about you either, Mr. Master. Mr. Master. Jesus. That voice. No wonder we used to follow you. Now that's the joke, right? Because they're not voiced?
Oh, well, actually, like, because I'm your master, like, you sound like you actually believe them.
No, but I mean the player character isn't
Oh,
voiced.
yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah, that's not the joke, but I guess it could be.
No, I think it's gonna be a joke.
All right, fair enough.
I can explain this character at all. Compare her face to the photo.
Whoever is...
She's lost. Whatever.
I guess. Well, let me see it. Anyways, you. This picture is of you.
Where did you... You didn't answer. Look, you know...
Wait, there was that answer I could have asked. Wait. Wait. How far are we? I think we're good.
Play dumb with me. I'm not...
I'm gonna ask the other questions first. Hello.
She's not the talkative type, it seems.
Have no idea about.
Do not feel obliged to answer. It was a ridiculous question.
See anything weird around
The
here?
lady asked you a question.
Leave her be. If she chooses not...
Where did you get...
You really nice. Would like to help you if you can, but trying to learn what happened. You really nice. Some question.
Answer mine either. Where did you get... Look,
What's that?
I don't even care. Just leave me alone. I might not... You don't need to come out here. Wait. It's you, isn't it? You've come...
No. Yeah, I've gone back. Who do you think I am? Come back from where?
Oh, no, you don't. You almost fooled me, but I can tell. You're the master.
I know what? Yeah, what do you got me confused with someone else? I'm the what?
Don't play dumb with me. At least, not anymore. You've done something.
Curious. She can see past the veil.
What?
Void touch.
I don't give a crap. And I don't give a crap, just...
Hey, what do you could you do about whatever you
Why?
I'm really troubled that I might have you feel better because I'm yours and I come out. You do a lot in this podcast, I'll report you if you don't tell me.
You honestly would, wouldn't you? Go ahead. Do it. Get the cops to throw me in jail. I don't care anymore. Not after the way you left us. So get out of here.
Wait, follow.
You heard me.
Because I left you, what do you mean by that? I've lost my memory, I don't remember anything about you or the village. I've been found. But in the basement of the village, building the basement of the village is half forest.
You're crazy. You're serious, aren't you? You didn't just...
It's a bit...
We are trying to piece together...
No, if you forgot... Look at me.
There's a ghost.
Oh, don't talk about it. Don't even think about it. Just...
What we do? You
You
find
can't...
it.
I mean...
Where's the guy in the picture with you?
You really don't... He's gone.
Hey! Oh, that's what it is.
All that... He and I were... He's gone. He left, not that you...
Right, right. You know we can get
Just
back
so
to...
we're clear.
Aw, that's a bit disappointing. Yes. Okay, what about now? Okay, but keep journal. God, it's incredible. There's a recon. Fantastic.
Blood rituals used for healing. Beauty can...
I didn't show it here, so how do we stop it?
That is the question, is it not?
We know what happened, just not how. If I understand that journal right, the ritual stopped working when the, master left. Which means that only you...
Then why leave Jordan in charge?
That's... In the meantime, I really want to know more about this ritual.
Let's get to it. to me? It goes into a hole now? Ah, not yet. Need to find the other information. Can we speak with you? Where did you? I was in the one. Whatever you're doing, I really wasn't me. Was it all the room? Was it all the room?
Did you teach us all how to do those blood rituals? Yes. You took us all in. You saved every month.
Maybe.
You'd do the ritual. Then you'd say those words better, stronger.
Life energy. That explains the wildlife in the basement.
Whatever it was.
It would have been there, so you haven't after whatever.
It all
Next.
ended, is what happened. Jordan
Oh.
was so happy when you. So he.
You need to tell me what happened now. What did they put you in? Put you in charge. Something was happening, or you wouldn't be here. So what did they do?
Loved me. He trusted me to do the right thing and do right by everyone. I didn't expect I would. I cut with a knife. I said those stupid words again and it didn't work, so
the murdered man.
it wasn't.
I said, would you do that was no accident? So an accident. Then you go on beyond.
Look, we were dying. All of us. A few splashes of blood on the altar wasn't doing the job anymore. So I thought.
You thought you would kill an innocent man.
It wasn't like that. He was almost dead anyway. He had a few days to live at most. So we thought. So yeah, we killed him. I killed him. I thought that was the end of it, but then.
His spirit. It came
Yeah,
back.
whole truth.
It was horrible. We couldn't stay. Every time it saw us, it would scream.
So it drove you out. You deserve what you got. So it drove you out.
Yes. And so I came here. I don't want to be. You believe me?
It is not a matter of belief.
Well, there's no point in lying. Master here was just as much.
What is the knife now? You needed healing. What was wrong with you?
Cerebral palsy. It was.
Where's the knife now?
I think I'm. What? Why do you? It's probably.
So we did it.
Yes, the pipes. You couldn't. We went down there, so.
And there's this.
This message. You serious? You never wanted to put. Whatever. It's to the right of the.
Right.
She threw the knife down magically.
Yeah.
Huh.
Super keen. Ring.
Turn it on! For the love of God, turn it back on!
What the hell? I already just said talk. Okay, I'll turn it back on.
Wait. Mask?
Yeah, I'm not thinking you mess. There's a me mess. Maybe I was once, but I'm not anymore.
No, you just can't leave me. Not again. Not yet. Please. I know. I failed you. I couldn't leave them. I tried.
Too much with your Jordan. What happened?
Look at me! This is what happened. Do you remember, Master?
They found me. Well, I remember now. Not this time. I have forgotten almost everything. I'm sorry. It wasn't really me. It was a demon who possessed me.
That was no demon. It was you. You were so kind. You showed me how to heal. We were going to heal the entire city. But I couldn't do it without the chill,
Yeah.
the cold. It just got worse. I had to find something.
I mean, then look like you found it. What did you find?
I'm so sorry, Master. You said that spell was dangerous. I didn't listen. But I was so desperate. I was freezing to death. The bed in that homeless shelter wasn't warm enough. You taught me a spell that would let warmth into my heart. So I spoke it. Then this happened.
Yeah, you were inside the homeless shelter when you cast the spell. You didn't know what happened to you. You stupid, reckless idiot.
Do you think I meant for this to happen?
Yes.
No, you hit the shelter. It burned.
Was
What do you think? Yes, Jordan, people were hurt. Yes, Jordan, people were hurt.
I didn't mean for this to happen. Help me, Master. Help.
After course.
Anything.
I knife.
The knife? Yes, I saw just.
I hit it good. We're supposed to win.
I didn't want to leave.
When you got someone on the altar?
Stand.
I want.
Why can't you get
How?
really,
I
really good?
understand. Ben.
Really
I
good.
understand. Ben.
Yeah, I can't do anything to help me.
I've been trying, but the fire, it's self-generated. I've never seen. I need.
Goodbye, Jordan.
Poor guy.
Hey, you wanna hear about Jordan? He's become a nice ghost. Hey, found.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. You mean become your...
You misunderstand.
You say that like...
Believe me.
Well, thanks. I'm done.
Very well.
If I...
Goodbye. I didn't think of the call, right?
Evening, man.
This is...
They went out of business. Squatters were living in it.
You let them.
The owner never filed a complaint. Stop.
Nothing
Nothing we could. But to be.
In
Case it, which means. Oh, really?
Because I'm a detective at NYPD.
So you are. You're with the Staten Island precinct? What brings you out here?
Just breaking down a serial arsonist that's classified. I give you an order. Please let us pass as classified. We are tracking down a serial arsonist.
Really? This is the first time I've heard of it, but nobody ever tells me anything. You think this building was torched by the same guy?
I'm sure to look around. Yes, we won't take long, I promise.
Take as long as you need. I'm not exactly going anywhere. The site's all yours, man.
Hey, interesting.
Interesting. That officer believed in your authority without question.
She was a cop. It's in her voice, her stance. You can't exactly fake that.
That is not in dispute. You certainly have a gift for command. We will
Great.
discuss this later. Let us find what we came for.
What do you... I have...
Eli, Looker.
Come on.
Is
Everything's fair.
nicely done.
That's me.
Enemy of eyes, open up. Hello, Jordan.
Well, that's...
Cold is goodbye.
Hey, we probably should stick around till we find what we need. I'm not sure you can bluff the cop a second time.
Damn.
Yes. Agreed.
Okay, Eli, roll it again.
Now that it's out in the open air... Jesus!
Hey, there, buddy. Hey, buddy.
My girlfriend was watching Riverdale at the time that I was doing this shot of Jordan's corpse. And while Riverdale isn't the same Archie I used to read as a kid, it is incredibly well lit and beautifully shot. And as a result of my exposure to that show's visuals, Jordan ended up getting a vivid pink feature light and cool blue ambient light setup that is definitely inspired by the people that light and shoot that show.
Look at that. Not a burn mark on him.
The ice protected him from the fire?
It also froze him to death, but if you want to get technical, sure, it protects...
What good gossip? Does everybody look familiar to you?
Maybe. It's hard to tell, you know, with all the frostbite things.
I admit, he does look bad. The more I look to you...
No, why can't... He looks...
The picture. Oh crap, it's Jordan. It's Jordan. It can't be
I don't
he.
believe it either, but here he is.
The evidence that Jordan sought a way to remove the cold and...
But how? Impossible. We saw him alive, so would he be in the server? I'm not good.
He
How?
already told us. He cast a spell. A foolish, foolish spell. His soul transmuted, escaped his body, and became something else. He is alive.
He's become a fire element.
Yeah, can you reverse her memorize how many people per time? Why would he do this to himself? So shame, right?
Forget. It was the demon possessing you that forced Jordan into this position.
Minor details.
Forced Jordan to do this, Mandana.
Regardless, we cannot allow a fire element.
The show was yes, like go back and ask him now. Did they guess can you find him then? I guess.
Stranger things happen, but yeah, talking it over is the way to go. We should hear Jordan.
Wait. Oh, I think I did I show that before? How far does it send? A good time. Isn't it that far?
When designing banter conversation between characters, it's very easy to go for the snark and have them just insult each other and make fun of each other. I decided not to do that. I find that I get more engaged when characters find common ground and come to a mutual understanding, and you see their relationship form and evolve and become stronger. That's how I get emotionally invested, and that's how you build character development. So when it came to writing all of these background banter dialogues, I deliberately approached it as each character has a point of view, and as the conversation goes on, they meet somewhere in the middle and come to a reasonably mutual understanding. I'd say about 90% of the background banter dialogues that you hear throughout the game are some variation of that. Characters coming to a mutual understanding about each other. So by the end of the game, if you've heard enough of these conversations between the characters, you really get a sense that this group has grown closer.
Eli, you are scratching the buttons of your...
Wait, I gotta test it again. Because I'm pretty sure. Okay, never mind. It was already dealt with. So, friend.
In case which means they went. You let the owner and nothing but. Oh, really?
But I'm a detective.
So you're with the.
That's retrieved.
Nobody. You think?
Everyone
Take
takes
as long
one.
as sites.
Interesting. That is, we will discuss.
Elon?
Come on.
Nicely done.
That's me.
Hello, bigger. Thanks. I'll take a slave out.
Well.
Elon?
Jesus.
Ooh.
My girl.
Look at that.
The ice.
The bird.
I
Doo doo. You can be.
The evidence. Jordan. He is.
He's be.
Regard.
You're the fire expert. Any thoughts?
Thoughts? I have plenty of thoughts. None of them nice. Let me mull them over for a bit, okay? We should hear Jordan out before deciding anything, anyway.
Okay, right. Let's go. Jordan.
Let's leave that body alone, okay?
Never mind.
What do you need?
Never mind.
Hope you found everything you needed.
Yes, okay.
Evening.
We wanted to let you know that we found a body in the rubble.
Kidding. It just... Alright, you report. Hopefully we'll catch this guy one way or another.
My report? Yes, have a good night, officer. Having a good night, I'll put in a good word for you. I have to get in well as you were. I'll put in that. Have a good night, officer.
In this weather? Somehow I doubt that. Evening. I don't blow.
Goodbye. So, Jordan. You might be a bit fucked. Buddy? Yeah, we really would like that knife.
I understand.
Going to show a little.
You did? What did?
How do you put this? Your corpse. How do you put this? Kind of. Yeah, you froze to death in the corpse.
My what? I'm dead?
No, not exactly. You're a fire elemental now. You're alive, you're just in a new body. That's why the flames are self-sustaining.
So there's no.
Oh, no. But you're.
You mean I have? You should have left.
So there's got to be something you can do here. I'm on the bed. You will think of something.
Thank you.
Look, we do have one. I'm a fireman. Given enough time,
Eli.
Will be
painful.
It will feel.
But it
eventually.
Then.
Yet don't forget. Are you sure that there's only option?
No, I will not allow you to do this. Not when there is another one. But there
Another
are
what?
others of your kind. Fire elementals.
Yeah, in another dimension, across the void. How do you propose to get him there?
Jordan is a. I can lend him the energy.
So he can what?
Wait.
Life there.
But what kind of life would that be?
Just stay down here.
Agree.
Besides,
one that
Zero
continues.
zero.
Sure.
You'll have to eat any human flesh, will he?
No, the effect of there will be others of his
But
kind.
you should go across the void. You'll be happy there.
Yes, Master, you were right. Maybe this is what was meant to be. Maybe you saved me that night for this very reason.
Oh, yes.
Maybe I have some purpose to fulfill in this new dimension. Okay, I am ready.
Let's see.
You should wait above ground.
Ah.
I will help him transfer across the void.
You don't get to see this? This one either?
I guess he's on his way by now. Off to his new life. Assuming you can call it life.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
You think we did the right thing?
He has a chance out there more than he would here. We could just kill him. Oh no, he has a chance out here.
A chance is better than nothing? Maybe. But to live through eternity without seeing another human being, I couldn't.
Paradise.
I know that much.
It's not human anymore. You'd rather die instead. It'd be nice to live
I've
in the
seen
world.
pictures of fire dimensions. They look like hell, literally.
Yeah.
I know what I am. I'm not entirely normal, but I know that I'm human. I know that I'm me. If I lose that, then I lose everything.
There we go.
Is he?
Yes, he has gone through the void.
He looks exhausted, so he can't ever come back. He can't ever come back.
Nor should he. He posed a danger to this city, the entire world. At the very least, he is out of harm's way. He did retrieve the ritual knife for me before he left.
Well, that's something. I'll study it back at the lab.
I know the routine. I shall call ahead and have pizza delivered.
It's like you read my mind.
Hey.
So I mentioned earlier in the commentary, and I assume you've been paying attention,
Yo.
that the original end goal of the mission was to deal with the ghost in the basement of the Village Eye, who had turned Geist and was going to tear the building apart, and partially the neighborhood. So the way to deal with that ghost was to get this knife from Jordan, go down to the basement, and kind of recreate the ritual that you learned from Wendy, and then the ghost would disperse. And I mentioned earlier that didn't sit right with me for several reasons, one of which was that I felt like I was designing a Blackwell game, and another reason was that every time I got to this point of the mission, it felt like a natural ending point. There was this character arc that had reached its end. You had achieved something by helping Jordan in whichever way you chose. It was a nice coda to end the mission on, and I always felt that this is where it should end. And I stopped fighting that after a while and just let it end here, and I feel it's much more natural.
Cool. Here we go. Hello, Mandina.
You are awake.
Is it about the last mission? Is it about with the cyclone?
No, I will not take up much of your time. You have completed your first field mission. You must. I am curious as to.
What do you want to know? I'm eager to get back out there. I'm still a bit overwhelmed, to be honest. You're doing important work. I can see it now. I just want things to go back to the way they were. We're still a bit of you're doing important work, I didn't see
Yes,
that, no.
our work is important. Of that, there is no doubt. For some of us, the Unavowed is a calling. But for you, I have seen you in action.
All I remember was to be a cop, you really think so?
You misunderstand me. Your old life, your time as a police officer, prepared you for this. It gave you discipline, authority.
Great.
The Unavowed has become lax in the recent decades. Perhaps you can help us with that.
Perhaps. Thanks, I'll do my best then, well, Lex Authority.
We are an ancient institution. We need new energy, new minds, new hearts. The Unavowed has been without that for a very long time. At any rate, I detect no falsehood within you. You spoke the truth to me. Thank you. I will return to my training now.
Cool, but wait. Speak.
Yes?
I have some questions.
Like with most, well... Yeah, ask me. I will do...
Can you really...
I believe we made the right choice with Jordan. When he disappeared across the void, he seemed... content? Less conflicted. More determined. I am sure you will make a life for himself there.
Can you really detect
Yes.
falsehoods?
Lies and falsehoods make Jinns... of course.
Yeah, lie. I grew up on Mars, I'm 120 years old.
I think of fingernail. Jinns...
You can't speak like
Indeed,
that.
of
Mind
You
tricks.
can my
Perfect.
This... my... I hope...
How many games
It is
sound like
not
that?
for your... Thank you.
Think it, buddy. Thank you, Lenny. Visual me.
Oh, hi. I was just reading some old...
First side? I don't know what it is. Right, first side, of course. You're reading through fire? Right, first side, of course.
Sarcasm received and understood.
Yee.
It's a fire magic trick. Lets me read any book that was consumed by flame. It's a bit of a strain on the eye.
Great, that's kind of cool. Also, what are you reading? Can I try? What are you
It's
reading?
an old Sumerian text about death magic. Really long. But I used
Oh
to
wait, I
wow
think
it.
I did it before.
That I worked. They used.
You're really on the
Yep,
camera?
you had me. Well, my boss.
You
Yeah,
got it?
it's all just. I don't know. I just keep thinking about Jordan, wondering if he's okay. I'm gonna live a long time, but even when I'm dust in the wind, he'll still be out there. I only hope he's still himself. Right.
Yeah, good stopping point. But I didn't realize I misspelled adventure. That is everyone. Great.